Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tef,
I'm Saidar.
and we are punk rock parents, and we will react to just about everything. Or anything, whichever.
Yep.
Today we're going to visit Katrina over at Origins Explained.
Okay.
And they always have some great videos, and this is one I saw come up, and I'm like, oh, it's about volcanoes and deadly creatures.
It's scary.
So, yeah, what lives in a volcano that's going to eat you?
Right.
And, the thumbnail had like a shark.
Weird,
I doubt there's a lava shark. But,
monster.
lava shark. I'm sure there's a sci-fi movie from the Sci-Fi Channel out there called Lava Shark, they have lava lantula.
That's true.
Yeah, you gotta be careful of those spiders that can spray out the fire, like flamethrower. That's awesome. All right, so we're gonna check out Katrina here, and let's see what lives in volcanoes besides lava. That's scary. Here we go.
Here we go.
Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10, volcano sharks. The Southwest Pacific Ocean is filled.
No, she did not.
The very first one's volcano sharks? Really?
Volcano sharks. I don't know, man.
All right, let's see about this.
with underwater volcanoes, with Cavachi being one of the most active. The entire area surrounding the volcano is brimming with hot and acidic seawater, so dangerous that human divers don't dare go down there. And that's when the volcano isn't erupting. When it does erupt, the waters get even deadlier. Despite the volatility of the area, the Cavachi volcano is home to a group of sharks. A team of scientists with National Geographic recently sent robots down into the dangerous waters equipped with cameras, discovering not only a few animals surviving in the toxic environment, but a shocking amount of biodiversity. Researchers witnessed silky sharks, hammerhead sharks, and even Pacific sleeper sharks, all living in the volcanic waters. The Pacific sleeper sharks were especially surprising to see because these sharks have only been caught on video twice before. The volcano itself is located near the Solomon Islands, and it is extremely active. Its last minor eruption was in 2014, and there were two explosive outbursts before that, one in 2006.
Those are, pretty eruptive
Can you imagine
instances.
being cruising on the ocean and you don't know there's a volcano there?
Yeah.
No, it might be, 500 feet under the top. You wouldn't even know. And then it just erupts. It's just like kaboom. I mean, does like the top rock of it fly out? I mean, that's a lot of force.
If something busts through the top where the crust has built itself over time, it would just come flying up, a whole bunch of rubble and stuff.
And would that shoot the sharks out? Instead of Sharknado? Whatever. We're not trying to give you guys ideas because I'm sure you'll come up with it on your own.
2007 and one in 2004. According to Brennan Phillips with the National Geographic team, nobody even knows how often the volcano really erupts because it's so difficult to study. Phillips also says it's shocking that so many sharks are living in the volcano, and it's made his team wonder just what kind of extreme environments the animals have adapted to over millions of years. Number 9. Flamingos of the Altiplano. The Bolivian Altiplano is like a landscape from another planet.
These are scary animals that live in volcanoes. So what's up with these flamingos?
How could a bird
The taekwondo mangoes?
that hangs out in it does warm because
Yeah.
they're in Florida a lot. It's very warm there.
But it's scary animals that live in volcanoes.
Maybe these are really scary birds. Well, let's find out. Let's see. What do we got here?
It's a desert plain high up in the mountains of the Andes, complete with smoldering volcanoes, crumbling rock formations, pits of boiling mud, and the occasional snowstorm. The peaks of the Andes Mountains
Snowstorms.
loom in the background, while sandwiched between two imposing volcanoes is a lagoon the color of spilled blood. It's truly a remarkable
Nice.
place, almost like a lake of liquid fire, thousands of feet above the ground with smoking volcanoes surrounding its shores. But what makes it really amazing is that it
Wow,
is
look at
home
that.
to hundreds upon hundreds of beautiful pink flamingos. The lagoon is called the Colored Lagoon or the Laguna Colorada, and it has an extraordinarily high salt content. It's sprinkled with white islands of borax, alkaline salt deposits, and the water is only about 3 feet deep. The lagoon has also been a staple in Bolivian folklore for centuries. The ancient people of the Andes, before the Europeans arrived, believed the lagoon held the blood of the gods. In contrast, modern scientists believe the red color comes from algae and minerals in the water. But whatever makes the water red, it is still home to some seriously brave flamingos. The flamingos are drawn to the Blood Lagoon because it offers a nearly limitless supply of plankton. 3 out of 6 known flamingo species live here.
I was wondering
The Chilean
about that.
flamingo, the Andean flamingo, and the James flamingo. The James flamingo is so
James
rare
just
that it was declared extinct
chillin'.
for a brief time
Right.
before a small population was found near the Red Salt Lagoon in 1956.
Good
If
for
you've
them.
ever wondered why flamingos are pink, it's because of the red algae and plankton in these types of salt lakes where they
What they
mostly
eat.
feed. It stains their feathers and turns them a reddish pink color, when in reality flamingos are born a dull gray. Number 8. Lava lizards.
Oh, that's a cool place to stop. Check that out. Lava. That's,
Lava
that's straight
lizards.
from World of
He
Warcraft right
looks
there.
awesome. I mean,
He's
looks,
about to breathe fire on you.
Well, maybe, but he's got that beautiful
See,
splash of
He
orange.
spilled some down.
And otherwise, he's all metallic looking. He's really cool. Well, let's see how scary he is. Let's see what he
Yes.
does.
Oh.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't think the flamingos were very scary. They
No,
were beautiful and majestic.
it was very cool that they
Yeah.
are living in a place you wouldn't expect them.
That is
But
very cool. But I didn't think they were scary.
no, you know,
But
this,
anyways.
this lizard better be scary.
He looks scary.
It looks like he might breathe some fire. I mean, he had like
Yeah.
blood coming, fire looking
he
stuff.
might give himself a little side.
Flamingos are born a dull gray. Number
Dull gray.
8.
So mean,
Lava
dull gray.
lizards. Lava lizards are a fascinating species of reptile that live across the Galapagos archipelago. There are 7 different
that 5
species
times.
of lava lizard in the Galapagos Islands that all belong to the genus Microlophus, with 15 other species found throughout the Pacific
he's
coast
pretty.
of South
Sweet
America.
guy.
They kind of look like iguanas and can be found in large groups. They spend most of their time sunbathing on the top of lava, and
Oh my
that's where the
God.
lava lizards get their name. Of course, the lava lizards aren't actually lying on hot lava, but on the rough surface of the islands. For those who don't know, the Galapagos Islands are technically volcanoes. They were formed from fire and lava, molten basalt lava to be specific. They are a group of shield volcanoes and lava plateaus, and lava frequently oozes out of the volcanoes in slow, almost hypnotic flows.
It's like
Once
a
the lava dries,
melted
the
marshmallow.
lava lizards
I always like watching lava.
Doesn't it look kind of like a
volcanoes and
marshmallow
lava
when you melt
plateaus,
it?
Yeah.
and lava frequently
too much.
oozes
It's all
out of the
squishy. Look at
volcanoes
that.
in
Yeah, it's all
slow,
squishy.
almost
Yeah,
hypnotic
marshmallows.
flows. Once the lava dries,
Hypnotic.
the lava lizards come to bask in the warmth. These lizards are the most abundant reptile found in the Galapagos. Scientists believe they evolved from a single ancestor millions of years ago, just like Darwin's famous finches. And then each developed unique traits based on which island they live on.
He's
Number
getting
7. The Quito rocket frog. The Quito rocket frog is native to the country of Ecuador.
Keto. That's cute.
Now, I'm
That
sure it
means
doesn't mean
small.
it's on the keto diet.
Wrong kind of keto.
Wrong
I believe
keto.
this keto means small, I think.
Rocket frog.
Tell me
Does
if
this
I'm wrong
mean?
or right.
Does this mean it like can rocket
I'll
forward,
bet you it does.
or is it like rocket something stinky out of its
Look,
hindquarters?
Look, the thing says keto. That's what it thinks it says.
That's what they called it.
But
All
look,
right.
it's like keto.
Ah, keto,
Yes.
like the cheese.
no.
Ecuador, and like many of the most spectacular animals of South America, it's at a high risk for extinction. To make matters worse, the Quito rocket frog lives near the cone of a volcano that is ready to erupt at any moment. Scientists say that if the
Move.
volcano erupts, it will most likely incinerate the last remaining frogs of the species.
Aw,
You
that's
know,
sad,
Animals know when earthquakes are coming, when other natural disasters are happening.
right?
It's just like, come on, man, this one's obvious. There's, you look over and you see the freaking mountain smoking.
Well, it might just be that they don't have that type of, I don't know.
I think it's natural to
Cognitive.
flee the fire.
Yes, when it actually comes.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the
ahead of
rumbling,
time.
all this, the smell. You think,
Or maybe
it would
they
drive
need
them away.
to be there. Maybe they need to be there because of the rocks and stuff.
Maybe.
They have to.
All right, well, let's see what happens here.
Okay, let's see.
Still not scary though, Katrina.
These are pretty cool animals. I mean,
It wasn't
lava
always
sharks are
this
pretty
way.
scary.
The frogs used to live all over the Andes Mountains in Ecuador, but now they have been reduced to the small environment on the banks of the Pita River, right in the path of a potential lava flow if the nearby Cotopaxi volcano erupts. After 73 years of deep slumber, the volcano started erupting in 2015. If its lava oozes out toward the river, the Quito rocket frogs will be boiled and gone. But there are some people trying to save the frog.
Or froggies.
Dr. Santiago Ron from Ecuador's Museum of Zoology says he and his team are currently sitting at a yellow alert, meaning
that
the
exact
superficial
toolbox.
activity of the volcano is low. Still, scientists have already collected 45 tadpoles and put them in a conservation facility. They will be kept here in case of an eruption,
cute.
and that way they won't be lost
They
forever.
look like little sperm, but
Number
they're so
6,
cute.
volcano snail. The volcano snail is without a
All right, now it's a volcano snail. Which is faster, a flow of lava or a snail?
Ooh, that's a good question. We might have to do a race. No, just kidding.
I don't think it wants to run that race.
I don't think I want to get close to either volcano snails or lava.
I mean, look, are those little teeth on it?
I don't know what
They're like
those are,
little
but
teeth.
it looks like something out of a nightmare.
All right, so this one's getting scarier.
Yeah, he's definitely a little bit scary, this guy.
Yeah, okay, let's see how scary it is.
doubt
low.
the toughest gastropod in the entire world.
Oh,
the
the
snail
toughest.
even looks like it belongs in a volcano. It has a black shell that looks more like a suit of iron armor, and it thrives inside the deadly environment of hydrothermal vents within the
Wow.
Indian Ocean. The volcano snail lives in the deepest parts of the hottest underwater volcanic vents found in the deep blue. Its shell is made of pure iron sulfide, which protects
Wow.
it from the extraordinary heat in which it thrives.
an amazing
For the
shell.
first time in history, scientists recently sequenced the gastropod's full genome. This has been a scientific breakthrough from beginning to end. The snail was first discovered in 2001, living in the deep hydrothermal vent fields along the central Indian Ridge at a depth of around 1.5 miles. It was officially
That's
given a
pretty far.
genus and a species over a decade later in 2015. Then, in 2020, scientists deciphered the genome to make sense of how the snail survives such a harsh environment, where the temperature reaches upwards of 750 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
What the scientists
Yeah, I remember when they were making some of these discoveries, there was like the sponge-like creatures that were there that lived in like their little tubes and everything.
Uh-huh.
And so I remember them, but I don't remember them ever talking about a snail that had an iron oxide shell.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
That is pretty dang cool.
I mean, is that pretty much like one of those pans that we cook with, old-fashioned pans? What are those made of?
No, those are just cast iron. I'm not
Okay.
sure exactly what the difference is, though.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see how this one ends
All
with
right.
snails.
found is that the snail has one very important gene called MTP-9. This gene makes it
That's
so
a
that
cool
when
gene.
the iron ions in the hot environment react with the sulfur growing naturally in the snail's scales, it creates the suit of armor that stops it from being boiled alive. Number 5. Combative crabs. Scientists on the research vessel Thompson were studying an undersea volcano called the Axial Seamount. It's positively huge and the most active submarine volcano in the Northeast Pacific Ocean. It's located about 300 miles from Cannon Beach in Oregon and sits at a depth of 4,626 feet. The last time it was active was in April of 2015. Having an active volcano so close to the shore of the United States is a
That's
pretty
not
scary
quite a mile
thing.
deep.
And so, scientists are trying hard to figure out its secrets to see if they can predict when it will explode next. But their research was recently hampered by a blanket of crabs living on the volcano that refused to let the scientists do their job. These are spider crabs, and they live all over the volcano. According to Bill Chadwick, a volcanologist at Oregon State University, the researchers are always ready to be sabotaged by the crabs. Every time the scientists tried to put down one of their pieces of equipment, like a seismometer that would help study the movement and inner workings of the volcano, crabs would scuttle over it. There are millions of crabs down here living on the volcano, and they always make scientific expeditions
Did
a
you see his
nightmare.
little beady
As
eye?
soon as something
Oh, look at his little eye.
crabs would scuttle over it.
He's staring
There are
at you.
millions of crabs down here living on the
There he is.
volcano, and they
That's
always
creepy.
make
Looks
right at
scientific
you.
expeditions
At least it
a
wasn't on a big, long
nightmare.
stalk.
As soon as
I
something
know.
is put down, they use it as a perch.
Stalk eyes are
And while the
creepy.
team did manage to get their
mean,
stuff down there, it's a
all the
gamble
creatures in
to
the world are
see
beautiful.
if it even works properly because there is so
doesn't mean they're
much
not
crab
creepy.
interference. Number 4. Giant woolly rat. Christopher Helgen is the
All right.
curator of mammals at the
Giant
Smithsonian's
woolly
National
rat.
Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. He is a biologist who recently teamed up with the Natural History Unit of the BBC to go on an expedition to a remote rainforest in Papua New Guinea. The place of interest was an extinct volcano called Mount Bosavi, located deep in the southern highlands. The crater of this gigantic volcano is over 2.5 miles wide, with its
Wow.
walls sloping up at least half a mile. Because the volcano is extinct and long since dormant, nature has taken hold inside the crater.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
it's all
thanks to the
green.
crater's high walls, the life inside of it has been sheltered from the rest of the
Lizard
world.
people, that's where
it's
they
more
live.
of a cave than a
stop it.
crater, with the animals living inside totally isolated from the forest on the other side of the wall. Inside the crater of the volcano, Christopher and his team discovered a new species of rat. It turned out to be one of the biggest rats in the world, and only found living in this environment inside the volcano. It's a beast of a rodent, weighing up to 3.5 pounds and measuring
big
nearly
rat.
3 feet long from the tip of its
Yeah.
nose to the point of its tail.
You know, they made movies in the 70s and 80s about rats this big.
I know,
And
right?
the New York sewers and everything.
I remember. Yep. That's a big rat. I like rats. I think they're really intelligent creatures. I happen to be year of the rat.
Yeah. One thing though is, okay, so yeah, they're stuck in
it.
this, the land, but birds can still get in and out.
True.
It can still be
But they can't.
cross-pollination of different seeds and plants and everything.
Through
It's just,
birds, I guess, yes, but not
Yeah,
from
the
them.
animals are
they
kinda
can't get out.
stuck.
They're kind of stuck.
unless they're good climbers.
Yeah.
Rats can climb.
All right. Well, let's see where this guy goes.
It's called the Bosavi woolly rat, and it lives on a diet of leaves and roots, building its dens in underground burrows within the crater. Number 3. The Maleo. The island of Sulawesi in Indonesia is one of the most biologically diverse places in the world, home to some of the most unique ecosystems that haven't yet been eviscerated by humans. The island is located just east of the more popular Borneo, and scientists love it here for the strange and wonderful animals. There are dwarf buffalo, all kinds of bizarre primates, and tusked pigs. Sulawesi was even home to a race of primitive hominins called Homo floresiensis. They lived until as recently as 15,000 years ago by some estimates, and grew to only be 3 feet tall. Scientists have compared
Aw.
them to real-life hobbits. But I'm here to talk about the Maleo, which is a bird. The island is home to 400 species of bird which are not found anywhere else on the planet. One of them is the Maleo, and it kind of looks like a really big chicken. These birds stand over 2 feet tall, have rosy red chest feathers, and have weird crests on their heads that look like helmets. They also
dinosaur
live
to me.
around volcanoes and lay their
it's
eggs
just like a
in
dinosaur.
extremely warm volcanic soil to keep them hot and help them hatch faster.
Not very
The
scary
nickname
though.
for the Maleo
I mean,
is the
yeah, they're not very
volcanic
scary.
bird, and for
It's
good
beautiful.
reason. These spectacular birds have evolved in one of the most volcanic regions on the planet. Indonesia is right in the middle of the Ring of Fire, a truly terrifying place.
Ring of
The
Fire.
volcanoes erupt frequently, and the wildlife has evolved to deal with it. The
The
Maleo
dragons
uses
come
the
out.
volcanic activity to its
number one
benefit,
has to be dragon.
laying its eggs in the hot soil.
Better
Nobody
be.
knows if it's because of the volcanic soil or just a special trait of the bird, but when the chicks hatch from their eggs, they can fly immediately. It's one of the only
Louise.
birds
Wow.
in the world that can do that. Number 2. Galapagos volcano snakes. Finding snakes in the
There we
Galapagos
go.
Islands is not nearly as easy as finding
He's a
lizards
little
there.
scary, but-
Sure, the archipelago is home to all kinds of reptiles like geckos and giant tortoises, but the snakes living here are extremely reclusive and very rarely seen. Charles Darwin collected the first Galapagos snake specimen in 1835, and almost nothing has been done to study them since. In 2015, Dr. Ortiz Catedral and her colleagues at the Galapagos National Park Directorate started studying the snakes, but they had a really hard time finding any. They went all across different islands, visited plenty of locations, including the tops of active volcanoes. They ended up finding roughly 400 specimens of snake over the course of several years. They also made a rather unusual discovery. The doctor and her team found that the Galapagos racer snake is a part-time cannibal. They found multiple instances of these Galapagos snakes eating each other when they got too hungry or too stressed out. Not only do the racer snakes slither around the tops of volcanoes, but they also seem to be stressed out about it, and so they eat their friends to calm down. Number 1. The happy face.
All right, so I didn't spoil it.
Yeah,
Better
that friends
say that
comes
happy
out number
purple
one, that
dinosaur.
Happy. What do you think it's gonna
It's
be?
Barney.
It's gonna be Barney. It's got what
No.
kind of a dragon?
It better. It should be a dragon. I mean, when you start your number 10 with volcano sharks,
I mean, that was pretty impressive.
that's very
Volcano
impressive.
sharks.
Volcano sharks. So your number one's got to be good. And I mean, the only place you got left to go is like a fire-breathing gecko.
All right.
Well, let's see what we got.
Face spider. The happy face spider is an interesting
Oh,
arachnid
he's
that lives on the
cute.
Hawaiian Islands.
But
It's called the happy
I
face
will
spider
say
because
he's
the pattern
kinda
on its
scary.
abdomen looks exactly like a smiley face. 2 black dots for eyes and a small black U for the mouth. When looking at the spider, it's almost
Aw,
like it's
he's
smiling
cute.
back at you. It's
He
also
looks
quite
like
a
the
unique
Grinch.
creature because its color changes with its diet. Its color can be completely different depending on what food it just ate, because whatever it's metabolizing affects its skin. This is a totally bizarre evolutionary mechanism that's not seen in almost any other animals. The happy face spider doesn't live inside of any rumbling active volcanoes, not exactly near any lava, but they are one of the more interesting residents of Hawaii's Big Island, residing inside the volcanic island's rainforests. This spider can be found on the undersides of leaves and has adapted to life on an ever-growing island made of pure, hardened lava quite well. Thanks for watching. Which
I
of
still
these
wasn't scared
volcanoes?
of him? I would have
No.
to say the scariest thing on that list was the lava shark because it can eat you and it looked like it was infected by lava, but that was probably just
Yeah.
production.
Yeah, that was a clickbait. So, yeah, this one we kind of got fooled. These weren't very scary animals. I mean, the
They were
spider
cool though.
was
I am
cool.
glad I watched it.
Yeah, I'm
though.
glad I watched
That
it.
was some
Happy
cool
Face
stuff.
Spider, never heard of it. That's pretty cool,
He's
but
really cool.
but it wasn't scary. I mean,
Right? All right.
well, please like and subscribe below. It helps us bring new content to you.
That's right. Until next time.
It really sucks when the football team ate all the presents.
I wish they wouldn't do that.